Disney is in full-on panic mode right now after one of the worst quarters they've seen in decades, and it resulted in CEO Bob Chapek getting fired and replaced by former CEO Bob Iger. But unquestionably, one of the biggest reasons for Disney being a complete disaster right now has to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What was its cash cow for so long that you could rely upon for these massive box office results and huge hits with everybody, it is no longer that. And Phase 4 of the MCU has been a disaster for Disney and for Marvel. Kevin Feige did exactly what he said he wanted to do. He said he wanted to focus on everything other than entertaining people. Diversity, representation, identity politics, virtue signaling, all these things that have nothing to do with what an audience actually wants to see. And they are seeing all of that bite them in the ass. And now we're uncovering even more about the Marvel way, the new Marvel way, the way that they decide how to do things. And when you hear things like this from the people working at Marvel, it's no wonder why they have these massive failures, because they're hiring people that don't actually care about the product. They've been doing it for forever, and now finally it's all catching up with them as people are just finding everything they can to explain why Marvel is so bad right now. Marvel Studios producer considers it a red flag if prospective writers are fans of the original comics, prefers to hire someone who's out of the culture. Now, the idea that you have to be a fan to work on something like this, I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think you have to be a diehard hardcore fan, although I do think it's a good thing. It is a huge positive if you know the source material, if you have respect for the source material, and nobody seemingly at Marvel has any for that. Well, now we know the reason. Because the people that are working there, they don't want to hire you if you're a fan. They think it's a bad thing. They're going the exact opposite of the way all normal people would actually go. That's why this is a disaster. As if it wasn't obvious enough from watching any of the studio's post-Infinity War output, producer Nate Moore has revealed he believes the key to Marvel Studios' success is hiring writers who are out of the comic book culture over anyone who loves the source material. And he shared a couple things on a podcast. That's where a lot of this comes from. He was asked if there's some kind of Marvel boot camp or something you do with these filmmakers to ingratiate them into this world and knowing all the things they need to know. To which he replied, not really. Not really. No big deal. Noting that some Marvel writers grew up reading and collecting comics like Joe Russo. Moore told Baloney, one thing I think is interesting, and specifically for writers, I would say, is that a lot of times we're pitched writers who love Marvel, and to me that's always a red flag. Of course it would be, because you're not trying to stick to the source material. You're not trying to tell stories that the audience wants. You're actually trying to tell stories that are laden with identity politics. You're trying to bastardize this as much as you possibly can, because the people who work for Marvel are evil pieces of shit who want to destroy Marvel. That's what they have done to the MCU. Another quote, I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what it is because you grew up with the comics and that's what you want to recreate. I want someone who's going to be hard on the material, who can say, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should be looking at it this way. Offering up an example, he pointed to the Captain America trilogy, where they said they weren't married to anything and nothing was sacrosanct. I think that's important to be able to go, look, the source material is great and I love it. Comics were great in the medium they're built in, but it's not a direct one-to-one translation in the best version of the movie. And sometimes it takes someone who's out of culture to say, hey, I think you should do this. And this is really where it goes off the rails. If you are maybe on board with what he's saying, he's about to absolutely say, well, you're wrong about this too. Turning in to provide further support, Moore then put forth Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder as a great example of that. Hey, I know Thor traditionally is a bit stiff, a bit Shakespearean, but what if you tweaked it? What if you tweaked the tone completely? The tone of Ragnarok is all Taika because he wasn't married to Thor on the page. What did he say? I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby. That's exactly what he did. And I've been telling people this for years. Thor Ragnarok was not good for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It destroyed everything that Thor was built upon before that. That was a point in time where they're like, hey, let's try to make everything like Guardians of the Galaxy, guys. That's what they tried to do to Thor. And they destroyed his character, what he was built upon in the MCU. And ever since that point, he's been awful. And look at what we got with Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder is just a continuation of Ragnarok. And if you didn't get it till then, well, that's fine. Maybe it takes some people longer. Like, you could see this from Ragnarok, that this is a problem, what Taika Waititi is doing. And now, inevitably, we finally have it all come crumbling down in Ragnarok, which was a disaster, garbage of a movie, huge box office disappointment. But that's what they want at Marvel. That's what they want them to do. And of course, this guy is a producer on Wakanda Forever as well. But this is the Marvel way. Hire people who aren't fans. And in fact, if you're a fan and you want to write for me, it's kind of a red flag. I'm going to pass on you. I'd rather have someone who's not afraid to destroy the source material. Pretty self-explanatory, I guess, why everything at Marvel is getting worse and worse as Disney continues to panic with the crazy turnover they're having there. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.